Hey everyone, I want to talk about something kind of important, something we all deal with every single day, our mental health.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're going deep on this one, checking out this episode of the Conscious Minds podcast with Hania Mer and Dr. Yisha Khan. She's a clinical psychologist.
Okay.
And what's really cool is how they kind of reframe how we think about mental health.
Right.
It's not just about like not being sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's way bigger than that.
Yeah, totally. Dr. Khan, she really emphasized that mental health is holistic.
Okay.
She actually gave this example of a patient dealing with anxiety, like really bad anxiety.
Wow.
And it was affecting everything for them.
Oh, wow.
Like their work, their relationships, everything.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And it was like a light bulb moment, right?
Yeah.
Because it shows how much our mental state impacts like every part of our lives.
Yeah, that's so true.
Daily stress, even like achieving our goals, it
Our
all
lives.
ties in.
So it's not just in our heads, right? It's like this force that shapes our whole reality.
Exactly.
And that leads to a big question.
What's that?
Why is there still so much stigma around mental health? It doesn't make sense.
Well, Dr. Khan, she argues it's like this combo of misunderstanding and she called it cultural baggage.
Okay.
Like, think about it. In some cultures, asking for help,
Right.
it's seen as weak.
Oh, yeah.
But other cultures, it's like encouraged, right?
Totally.
And those beliefs, they make it so hard to just talk openly
It's true.
about mental health.
Yeah, it's almost like we've been taught to treat physical health and mental health like they're totally different.
Yeah.
You know, if you break your leg,
Oh, yeah.
you go to the doctor, no problem.
For sure.
But feeling anxious or depressed, so many people just suffer silently.
Right.
Why is that? Maybe Dr. Khan has some answers.
Well, she makes this really interesting point. She's like, why do we separate the two? Physical and mental health. It's like there's this rule that you deal with mental health stuff alone,
Right.
even though it can be just as bad as like a physical problem.
Totally. Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
So how do we start breaking down this stigma? Because it's obviously stopping people from getting help.
Well, Dr. Khan thinks education is huge,
Okay. Yeah.
but it's not just about like definitions and stuff.
Right.
It's about making these conversations normal,
Okay.
sharing our own stories, making spaces where people feel safe
Yeah.
to be open, whether it's at home, at work,
Right.
even online.
That safe space thing is so important, isn't it?
Right.
Imagine we grew up,
Yeah.
talking about our mental health. Like,
Yeah.
it was as normal as saying, I have a cold.
Right.
It would change everything.
Totally.
So for someone who is struggling, what's that first step? It seems so hard.
Well, Dr. Khan said the big thing is just admitting it, like admitting to yourself that something's not right. And then finding someone you trust to talk to, a friend, family, therapist, maybe even look online.
So true. There are resources out there.
Yeah. And what's really cool is how she talked about asking for help.
Yeah.
She said it's a sign of strength, not weakness.
I like that a lot.
Right.
It changes how you think about it.
It's a total shift in perspective.
It really is. And it's something that I struggled with for a long time.
Really?
I used to think asking for help meant I wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
Like I should be able to handle everything myself.
I hear that.
And it took me a while to realize
Yeah.
that asking for help, it actually takes courage.
It does.
And being self-aware,
Yeah. It shows you know yourself.
that can make a huge difference.
A huge difference.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you're lost, right?
Yeah.
You need directions. Asking doesn't make you less capable.
Right?
It just means you're smart enough to get help to get where you need to go.
Totally.
Right.
Okay, so let's say you're on the other side of this. You've got a friend or family who's clearly having a tough time.
Yeah.
How can we be there for them without like pushing too hard or making it worse?
That's a great question.
What did Dr. Khan say?
She really stressed listening without judgment.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't want advice.
Right.
They just need to feel heard,
Yeah.
understood.
It's like holding space for them.
Exactly. Just being there, letting them know they're not alone.
Powerful stuff.
It is. And if it feels right, maybe encourage them to talk to a professional.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is patience.
Yeah.
Recovery's a journey. It's different for everyone.
So true. It's funny. We talk about self-care all the time.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's connected to mental health,
That's true.
It's like they're separate,
Yeah.
but they're totally linked.
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Khan, she actually talked about that.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she said we got to treat mental health just like physical health.
Right.
Like if you have a cough
Yeah.
or break a bone, you go to the doctor.
You go get it checked out.
Exactly. But we ignore mental well-being all the time.
It's like it's not as important somehow.
It's like we think it's less real.
But it's just as important as eating healthy and exercising, right?
Exactly. We need routines that support our minds, too.
So what kind of stuff can we do? What did Dr. Khan suggest?
Well, she said simple things help.
Oh,
Like enough sleep,
makes sense.
being in nature, doing things you enjoy,
Oh, yeah, the fun stuff.
and spending time with people you care about.
Oh, that's so key.
It is, but it's easy to forget all that when you're stressed, right?
It is. It's like those are the first things to go.
Yeah, but it's got to be a priority, even when it feels hard.
Right, like making time for it.
It's like that saying, put your own oxygen mask on first.
If they're helping others, right?
Exactly. You can't help anyone if you're running on empty.
So true. And speaking of things that can drain us,
Oh, yeah.
we have to talk about social media.
Oh, big one.
Dr. Khan mentioned it, and I think it's something we all struggle with.
For sure, she called it a double-edged sword.
I like that
Yeah.
because it can be good.
Right. It connects us to people, builds communities.
You learn stuff, find support.
Right.
There's always a but.
It can also make you feel terrible about yourself.
Oh, totally.
Like you're constantly seeing everyone's highlight reel.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember that everyone struggles.
Right. No one's perfect.
But online, it looks like everyone is.
Have you ever been scrolling through
Mm-hmm.
and you just start feeling bad?
Oh, all this time.
Like you're not good enough, successful enough, whatever enough.
It's a trap.
It is. It's a comparison trap.
And Dr. Khan was really big on being mindful about social media.
Okay.
Like, who are you following? How do they make you feel?
Right. That's far.
And taking breaks when you need them.
I think we also forget it's not real life.
Exactly.
It's all curated, the best moments, the filters.
People don't show the hard stuff.
So we're comparing ourselves to something that doesn't even exist.
It's like comparing your worst moments to someone else's best.
And that's just going to make you feel bad.
It's not fair to yourself.
So how do we use social media without letting it get to us?
Dr. Khan said boundaries are important.
Like time limits, stuff like that.
Yeah. And being picky about what you're looking at.
Choose who you follow carefully.
Exactly. And remembering that likes and followers don't define you.
There's just numbers.
Right. Your worth is way more than that.
It's about putting mental health before online perfection.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health being holistic, the stigma, getting help,
Yeah.
the whole social media thing.
It's a lot.
As we're wrapping up, what's the one thing you think is most important for people to remember?
I think it's that mental health is just as important as physical health.
Yeah,
We got to talk about it, break down those stigmas.
make it normal.
Exactly. And create spaces where people feel safe to get help.
I love that. And it goes back to what Dr. Khan said about self-compassion.
Oh, that's so important.
Be kind to yourself, acknowledge the struggles, but celebrate your strengths too.
Yes. And remember, you are not alone in this.
That's so powerful.
There are resources, people who care. You're part of a community.
I love that it's like, even when it's dark, there's always hope.
Always. And just knowing that you're not alone can change everything.
So true. So Dr. Khan actually asked this in the podcast. I want to ask you too.
Okay.
If you could go back in time
Mm-hmm.
and give your younger self one piece of advice about mental health,
Ooh, that's a tough one.
what would it be?
You know, I think I'd say it's okay to not be okay.
Wow. That's so simple but powerful.
It is, right? It's
Right.
okay to struggle, to feel overwhelmed, to ask for help.
That's such a good message.
And it's actually a sign of strength
I love that.
to be able to admit that.
Yeah.
And you know what else?
What?
I'd tell myself that being vulnerable is a superpower,
Oh, I like that.
not a weakness, because it helps you connect with people, heal.
It lets you live a more real life.
Exactly, more meaningful life.
Beautifully said. Now I want to ask our listeners the same question.
Yeah, what would they tell their younger selves?
Head over to our social media and let us know.
Yeah, share your advice.
Let's keep this conversation going because it's so important.
It is.
Hearing other people's stories, knowing you're not alone.
It can be really empowering.
Yeah, like we're all human.
We are.
We're going to have good days and bad days.
Exactly, that's life.
And it's okay to not be okay.
It's all part of the journey.
Talking about it, getting help, taking care of ourselves.
Yeah,
Those aren't weaknesses.
they're not.
They're signs of strength.
Absolutely.
It's like finally giving ourselves permission to be human
To feel it all.
without judging ourselves for it.
To own our mental health, make it part of who we are.
And remember, even small steps count.
They do.
Check in with yourself. See how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Do things that bring you joy. Make time for them.
Spend time in nature, listen to music.
Be with people you care about.
Just breathe.
Yeah, sometimes we just need to breathe.
Exactly. Whatever makes you feel good.
Put it in your schedule.